In the ancient city of Kulmbach, nestled amidst the dense forests of Bavaria, a chilling tale unfolded, shrouded in mystery and terror. It began with whispers in the night, rumors carried on the wind of savage attacks that left the inhabitants trembling with fear. The tranquil streets became haunted by the specter of death, as mutilated bodies were discovered, bearing the unmistakable marks of a ferocious predator. At first, the townsfolk dismissed the notion of werewolves, attributing the grisly killings to wild animals prowling the outskirts of the city. But as the moon waxed and waned, and the attacks continued with relentless brutality, a sense of dread descended upon Kulmbach like a suffocating fog. With each passing night, the shadows grew longer, and the streets emptied as fear gripped the hearts of those who dared to venture outside after dark. Mothers huddled their children close, casting anxious glances at the moonlit sky, while whispers of ancient curses and bloodthirsty beasts spread like wildfire through the city. Desperate to end the reign of terror, a group of brave souls banded together, armed with silver bullets and ancient incantations passed down through generations. They patrolled the streets under the cloak of darkness, their eyes scanning the shadows for any sign of the elusive creatures that stalked their prey with ruthless precision. But the werewolves were cunning, elusive predators, blending seamlessly into the fabric of the night. They struck swiftly and without warning, leaving behind a trail of carnage that sent shivers down the spines of even the bravest souls among them. As the body count rose, paranoia gripped the city, and suspicion festered like a festering wound. Accusations were hurled like daggers in the dark, tearing apart the tightly knit fabric of Kulmbach's community. Neighbors turned against neighbors, casting wary glances at one another, wondering if the beast lurked beneath the guise of a familiar face. In the midst of the chaos, an ominous figure emerged from the shadows, a lone wanderer with eyes as dark as the abyss and a gaze that pierced the soul. Whispers followed in his wake, tales of a man cursed by the light of the full moon, condemned to roam the earth as a creature neither man nor beast. Some whispered that he was the key to unlocking the mystery that shrouded Kulmbach in darkness, while others feared him as the harbinger of their demise. But as the moon rose high in the midnight sky, casting its eerie glow upon the city below, one thing became clear: the hunt for the werewolves had only just begun, and the true horrors that lurked in the shadows were yet to be revealed. As the moon continued its relentless dance across the night sky, tensions in Kulmbach reached a fever pitch. The hunt for the werewolves intensified, fueled by fear and desperation. Every shadow seemed to hold a lurking menace, and every rustle in the underbrush sent hearts racing with dread. Meanwhile, the enigmatic wanderer who had emerged from the darkness remained a mysterious figure on the fringes of society. Some whispered that he held the key to unraveling the mystery of the werewolf attacks, while others regarded him with suspicion, wondering if he was friend or foe. But as the days stretched into weeks and the body count continued to climb, a sense of hopelessness settled over the city like a suffocating blanket. Despite their best efforts, the hunters were no closer to uncovering the truth behind the savage attacks that had plunged Kulmbach into chaos. Amidst the turmoil, whispers began to spread of a hidden sanctuary deep within the heart of the forest, a place where the werewolves gathered under the cloak of darkness to unleash their primal fury upon unsuspecting victims. Some claimed to have glimpsed the eerie glow of torches flickering amidst the trees, while others spoke of unearthly howls that echoed through the night, chilling them to the bone. Determined to put an end to the reign of terror, a group of fearless adventurers set out into the forest, their resolve as strong as the silver blades they carried at their sides. Guided by rumors and half-truths, they ventured deeper into the wilderness, their senses heightened by the palpable sense of danger that surrounded them. But as they delved deeper into the shadows, they soon realized that they were not alone. Sinister figures lurked in the underbrush, their eyes gleaming with feral hunger as they watched the intruders with predatory intent. With each step they took, the forest seemed to come alive with malevolent energy, as if the very trees themselves conspired to thwart their progress. Shadows danced at the edges of their vision, and the air grew thick with the scent of fear and ancient magic. And looming over it all was the enigmatic wanderer, his presence a constant reminder of the darkness that threatened to consume them all. With his piercing gaze fixed upon the horizon, he seemed to sense the looming danger that lay ahead, a danger that could spell doom for Kulmbach and all who dwelled within its ancient walls. As they pressed on, their hearts heavy with the weight of uncertainty, one thing became clear. The true nature of the werewolves and the secrets they guarded were far more sinister than anyone in Kulmbach could have ever imagined. As the adventurers delved deeper into the heart of the forest, they encountered increasingly ominous signs of the werewolves' presence. Strange symbols etched into the bark of trees glowed with an otherworldly light, guiding their path deeper into the shadowy depths. Whispers of ancient curses and forgotten rituals echoed through the dense foliage, sending shivers down their spines. It was as if the very forest itself conspired to keep its darkest secrets hidden from prying eyes. But despite the mounting sense of unease, the adventurers pressed on, their determination unyielding in the face of looming danger. With each step, they drew closer to the elusive sanctuary rumored to be the werewolves' lair, their senses alert for any sign of the creatures that lurked in the shadows. As they ventured deeper into the darkness, the air grew heavy with the stench of decay, and the ground beneath their feet seemed to pulse with an ancient, malevolent energy. Strange whispers brushed against their minds like tendrils of fog, filling them with a sense of dread that threatened to consume them whole. And then, they stumbled upon it, a hidden clearing bathed in the sickly glow of moonlight, where twisted trees loomed like skeletal sentinels and the very earth seemed to writhe with unnatural life. At the center of the clearing stood a gnarled oak tree, its branches twisted into grotesque shapes that seemed to writhe and twist in the darkness. And there, beneath the baleful gaze of the moon, the adventurers beheld a sight that chilled them to the core, a pack of werewolves, their eyes burning with feral hunger as they circled a flickering bonfire. In their midst stood the enigmatic wanderer, his gaze locked with theirs in a silent challenge. For a moment, time seemed to stand still as the two groups faced off in the moonlit clearing, the air thick with tension and the promise of violence. And then, with a blood-curdling howl that echoed through the night, the werewolves launched themselves into the fray, their savage claws and razor-sharp teeth gleaming in the firelight. In the chaos that followed, the adventurers fought with all the strength and courage they could muster, their blades flashing in the darkness as they clashed with the ferocious creatures that threatened to tear them apart. But for every werewolf they struck down, two more seemed to take its place, their numbers overwhelming in their relentless onslaught. And as the battle raged on, a chilling realization dawned upon the adventurers. The werewolves were not merely creatures of the night, but guardians of a darkness far deeper and more sinister than they could have ever imagined. And as they fought for their very lives, they knew that the true horror of Kulmbach's curse had only just begun to reveal itself. As the moon cast its eerie glow over the chaotic scene, the battle between the adventurers and the werewolves raged on, each side locked in a deadly struggle for survival. Blood soaked the forest floor, mingling with the earth in a grim testament to the violence that had engulfed Kulmbach. But amidst the chaos, a sinister presence loomed, watching the carnage unfold with cold detachment. The enigmatic wanderer stood at the edge of the clearing, his dark eyes betraying no emotion as he observed the unfolding chaos with an air of quiet menace. As the tide of battle shifted back and forth, the adventurers found themselves facing an enemy unlike any they had encountered before. The werewolves fought with a savage ferocity that bordered on madness, their primal instincts driving them to tear their foes apart with tooth and claw. But even as the adventurers struggled to hold their own against the relentless onslaught, they could not shake the feeling that there was something more at play here than mere bestial rage. Whispers of ancient curses and forbidden magic hung in the air like a foul miasma, filling them with a sense of dread that threatened to overwhelm their senses. And then, just as it seemed that all hope was lost, a voice cut through the chaos like a clarion call, echoing through the forest with a power that sent shivers down the spines of both man and beast alike. It was the voice of the enigmatic wanderer, his words imbued with a dark power that seemed to bend the very fabric of reality to his will. With a single command, he brought the battle to a sudden halt, freezing both adventurers and werewolves alike in their tracks. For a moment, the clearing fell silent, save for the ragged sounds of labored breathing and the crackling of the dying bonfire. And then, with a voice like thunder, the wanderer spoke once more, his words carrying the weight of an ancient prophecy long forgotten by the sands of time. In the heart of the forest, where shadows dwell and secrets lie buried, a darkness stirs that threatens to consume all who dare to stand in its way. But in the darkest hour, when hope seems lost and despair reigns supreme, a chosen few shall rise to face the true horror that lurks beneath the surface. With those cryptic words, the enigmatic wanderer vanished into the shadows, leaving the adventurers to ponder the ominous warning he had imparted. And as they stood amidst the wreckage of their battle, they knew that the true test of their courage and resolve had only just begun. As the echoes of the enigmatic wanderer's words faded into the night, the adventurers were left grappling with the weight of his prophecy. Their minds raced with questions, each more unsettling than the last. What darkness lurked in the heart of the forest? What secrets lay buried beneath its ancient boughs? And most importantly, who were the chosen few destined to face this looming threat? With the moon hanging low in the sky, casting long shadows across the forest floor, the adventurers knew that they could not afford to linger in the clearing. Gathering their wits and steeling their resolve, they set out once more into the depths of the wilderness, their hearts heavy with the burden of uncertainty. But as they ventured deeper into the forest, the air grew thick with a palpable sense of unease. Strange whispers danced on the wind, their words too faint to decipher but laden with an unmistakable sense of foreboding. It was as if the very fabric of reality itself had begun to fray, revealing glimpses of a darkness that defied comprehension. And then, just as they reached the edge of a vast, yawning chasm that seemed to stretch into the very bowels of the earth, they stumbled upon it, a hidden entrance concealed amidst the gnarled roots of a massive oak tree, its ancient bark twisted and contorted into grotesque shapes. With trepidation coursing through their veins, the adventurers descended into the depths of the cavern, their torches flickering in the oppressive darkness. As they navigated the labyrinth and tunnels that wound their way deeper into the earth, they felt the weight of centuries bearing down upon them, as if the very stones themselves whispered of a time long forgotten. And then, at long last, they emerged into a vast, echoing chamber bathed in an eerie, pulsating light. At its center stood a towering monolith, its surface etched with strange symbols and arcane sigils that seemed to writhe and twist with a life of their own. As the adventurers approached the monolith, they felt a strange sensation wash over them, as if the very air crackled with an electric energy that set their nerves on edge. And then, with a deafening roar that shook the chamber to its foundations, the monolith sprang to life, its surface rippling like liquid fire as a portal to another realm began to materialize before their eyes. With their hearts pounding in their chests, the adventurers knew that they had stumbled upon something far more sinister than they could have ever imagined. For beyond the portal lay the true source of Kulmbach's curse, a darkness that threatened to consume not only the city, but the very world itself. And as they stood on the precipice of oblivion, they knew that their greatest challenge lay ahead, to confront the true horror that lurked beyond the veil, and to vanquish it before it was too late. With their determination steeling their hearts, the adventurers stepped forth bravely into the swirling maelstrom of darkness that lay beyond the portal. Guided by courage and an unyielding resolve, they confronted the malevolent forces that sought to engulf their world in eternal night. Through trials and tribulations, they fought with valor and unity, each member of the party drawing strength from the bonds of camaraderie that bound them together. Their swords flashed like beacons of hope in the Stygian gloom, striking true against the encroaching shadows that threatened to snuff out all light. And as they faced the ultimate test of their courage, they discovered within themselves a power far greater than they had ever imagined. The power of hope, of resilience, of the unwavering belief that even in the darkest of times, light would always prevail over darkness. With a final, resounding blow, they vanquished the malevolent entity that had plagued Kulmbach for so long, banishing it back to the depths from whence it came. And as the last echoes of battle faded into the ether, a sense of peace descended upon the land, filling the hearts of its inhabitants with renewed hope and optimism for the future. In the days that followed, the city of Kulmbach emerged from the shadow of fear, its streets once again bustling with life and laughter. The memory of the horrors that had plagued it seemed like a distant dream, fading with each passing day into the annals of history. And though the adventurers who had saved the city from certain doom were hailed as heroes, they knew that the true heroes were the ordinary men and women who had refused to surrender to despair, who had stood firm in the face of unimaginable adversity, and who had never lost faith in the power of good to triumph over evil. As they looked out over the city from the walls of the ancient fortress, bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun, they knew that their journey was far from over. But whatever challenges lay ahead, they faced them with heads held high, secure in the knowledge that as long as there were those willing to fight for what was right, darkness would never again hold sway over the land of Kulmbach.